In just 15 days, we have a presidential election here in the United States. But officials are now preparing for violence in the Capitol, in Washington, D.C., but also in major cities all across the United States. They're already anticipating protests like we've never seen before, and this could hurt and potentially kill many people. Now I'm going to break down what's going on, why there are already threats going on in Washington, D.C. and other major cities across the United States. But all I ask is one thing, takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So here's what you need to know. There are many things on the ballot. So if you decide to vote for former President Donald Trump, you are deciding to vote for certain things. If you are going to vote for Vice President Kamala Harris, again, different things. Now, there are a few things that they do agree on, but those are very minimal. Now look at this. It says law enforcement officials prepare for possible post-election violence in D.C. Now, why are they saying this? Well, it's actually pretty simple. Many people are worried about who the next president's going to be. What we do know is that once the election happens on November 5th, we may not know who the president is for days, if not weeks, because they're likely going to have to continue to count the votes, and there could be some litigation. Now, I want to read this to you. It says, the threat of political violence will likely hang over the nation's capital in the weeks following Election Day, security experts say, despite intensive preparations by law enforcement officials determined to avoid another January 6th insurrection. Now, here's the other thing that you may not know. It doesn't matter if it's former President Donald Trump or Vice President Kamala Harris. There are going to be certain people or potentially groups that are going to fight to ensure that that person doesn't get it. Okay? There will be groups. This is what experts are telling us. This article goes on to say, the 2,000 plus officers who make up the U.S. Capitol Police, as well as other federal law enforcement agencies like the Secret Service, have responded to a surge in threats against elected officials during the last few years, including 2 assassination attempts against Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump just this year. Now, here's the concern after the election. If there was already 2 assassination attempts on former President Donald Trump's life, what's to say that there's not going to be more or a continual attempt on his life if he becomes president? That we don't know. Okay? But that is the concern. It says, but the threats, attacks, and shootings have led to questions about whether the 2 agencies are truly prepared for a presidential transition, especially after a report released this week that said the Secret Service requires fundamental reform to carry out its missions. It goes on to say, the agency is tasked with planning and coordinating security for Congress's certification of the Electoral College on January 6th, the first time it's been designated a national special security event, and Inauguration Day on January 20th. Again, keep in mind, January 6th, 2020 or whatever it was, that was a very big day. That was when, there was that, attack on the Capitol, or, well, you can see it right here. Okay, January 6th, 2021. Right, that's when, thousands of people stormed the U.S. Capitol, and you can see, everyone standing up on the risers over here. Right, that's not what they were supposed to do. It's not where they're supposed to be. Anyway, and I bring this up because experts have been bringing up these concerns for several months that we are likely going to see. This is going to be the biggest election we have ever had in the United States. Okay? Because again, what both candidates are fighting for. They're very different when it comes to the border. Okay, they're very different when it comes to the economy, right? Lower middle income households, businesses, again, very different. But what's concerning though is that there are certain groups of people that feel that they're going to need to, make a stand, say something, do something. And this could potentially take the lives of American citizens. Now I want to keep reading this. It says, it's nice to think that would exist, but if you're trying to consider all the different kinds of variables that you have to plan for, there's always going to be a gap or vulnerability. And that's talking about the 100% security. Okay? The biggest issue we're going to face, according to reports, is that we could potentially see thousands and thousands of people come from all over the United States and land right in Washington, D.C. This will likely happen on January 6th and again on Inauguration Day on January 20th. When this happens, is the city prepared for it? Is Washington, D.C. prepared for whatever's coming? According to reports, the answer is no. They are ill prepared, and they will be no matter what. Now, I want to give you a little bit of a warning first. Okay? First off, if you plan to go to Washington, D.C., I hear it's, go to on Inauguration Day. It's a big event, right? A lot of stuff going on. It's something that everyone should experience once in their lifetime. I don't know if this is the one to go to. Okay? I just don't know. I don't know who's going to win. Okay, for one. I don't know what it's going to look like, but everyone keeps saying that this election will be contested. No matter what, it will be contested. As of right now, there are more reports that say former President Donald Trump is going to win. And in those reports, it also says Democrats will contest it because he should not be president, especially if he is a felon. So, what I can tell you right now is it doesn't matter who wins, this election will be contested. They are going to contest this in the courts. They're going to drag this on for as long as they can, no matter what. Okay. But, in the meantime, all these issues, all the controversy is going to spill over into other cities. These are cities like San Francisco, Seattle, Los Angeles, Boston, Chicago, Denver. Okay? Everywhere we go, all the big cities, there will be protests. That is why law enforcement is preparing now and has been for over a month for potential post-election violence here in the United States. So, we're going to see what happens moving forward. The one thing I can tell you is I will be here every step of the way and I'll fill you in on all the latest news and updates. But as of today, that is what we know. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing and I'll see you guys on the next one.